Good morning and afternoon, everyone. My name is Johan, and I am part of the team at Pond. I want to welcome you to today's vendor demo session with Alex Gladley from Keela. Before I turn it over to Alex, just quickly wanted to remind everyone that if you're interested in learning more about this solution, we'd encourage you to send the Keela team a Pond message. You can do this by logging into your Pond account and then navigating to the Keela provider page and click send message. From there, you can get your questions answered or request a one-on-one meeting. And as a reminder, we're going to put Pond credits in your account for every meeting arranged through the platform. Without further ado, let me turn it over to Alex.
Thank you, Johan. So yeah, thanks for having me, Pond. Really appreciate it, and fun to get to know you all over the next kind of 45 minutes. So I'm going to show you around Keela. I'm going to talk about some of the problems that we solve for some of our clients. And I'm also keeping an eye on the chat. So if you do have any questions, feel free to pop anything in there. You know, you could start off by maybe saying if you're working on spreadsheets or if you're working in a system that you don't like, that might be the reason that you're here today. So feel free to pop it in there, or even share some of your problems. You know, some of our clients, they're looking to boost their revenue, recurring donor program, major donor program. Maybe they feel like they haven't got enough time in the day. So Keela can maybe be that extra person. So feel free to pop anything in there. And I'll be doing two things at once, but I'll do my best to help you if you have any questions. So I'm sure you've looked at me long enough. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I promise you, Keela is a lot prettier than I am. So let's click share. And you should see a familiar looking website at the moment. And I'll jump into Keela. So yeah, welcome to Keela, everyone. Keela is an all-in-one cloud-based platform that's going to let you manage your contacts, be it donors, members, volunteers, whoever it is to you, all in one place. And this is it on my Mac using Chrome. It works on any computer or laptop. You can sign in on a tablet, and we even have a phone app as well. One thing that I hope that you notice straight away is how clean it looks. We spent a lot of time on the design, making sure that it is easy to use. And quite obviously, we've got the menu down the side, the main pane in the middle here, and top right where it says Empower Nonprofits Now. That's the name of my fake nonprofit for the purpose of the demo. I'm not a real superhero like you lot. So yeah, I just pretend, but you'll have your organization name up here. And the first screen that you see when you sign into Keela here is the home screen. So that's essentially a snapshot into how your nonprofit is doing. It's going to help you set up your day-to-day tasks. You can also see it's welcoming me as an individual user, which is important for a few reasons. So firstly, and we were actually born out of a nonprofit ourselves, so we don't do things like charge you by the amount of people that are using Keela. You have up to 99 users available for Keela. We have 3 different permission levels. You know, maybe you've got an idea for somebody to send a newsletter using our communications tool, but you don't necessarily want them seeing the financial information. You know, they could have a lower permission level account. There's also a number of shortcuts and customizations that I can point out as we go along. Any organization, people have different roles, so they need to see different things. So our home screen is completely customizable. I'm going to show you some of the things that I have on mine that may be useful for you in your role. So quite interestingly, we've got August potential donors. Keela's actually telling us that it's got some people here that it believes are ready to give right now. So we can take action on that right from the homepage if we want. I also have some upcoming contact tasks, keeping an eye on my recent transactions there. Also my recent volunteering activities, and I'm keeping an eye on my donation and revenue goals. So those are just the things that I've chosen to have on my personal homepage, but we can just add or remove to these as we please. If you're working at an organization that has memberships, you might want to see your upcoming memberships, or maybe you're expecting a whole load of new people to come into your database because you're running an event. You might want to see your recently added contacts. Maybe you've sent out a volunteer form. You might want to see your recent form responses. So the home screen is going to keep you on track. But I think now what I'm going to do, you can see we've got quite a lot to show you. Looks like too much for 45 minutes, and you would be correct. We're hoping that this software is going to revolutionize the way that you work. So today I'm just going to show you some of the more powerful tools that our organizations love. And if you're interested in kind of learning more, then yeah, reach out to us via Pond and we'll actually learn a little bit more about you before going to a demo so we can tailor it to your specific needs. Still nothing in the chat, but feel free to pop in anything in there that you may be struggling with, and I'll try to get there at some point. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to go to the donation page. Huge reason why people choose Keela is because of our donation pages. We just revamped them. I think we easily have the best ones around of any CRM, and even probably standalone forms tools as well. So I'm going to go to a Keela organization. Here they are. So this is One Message TV. They've been with us just over a year now. They increased their revenue by 56% in their first year with us. So they're doing really well, and I really love their form and some of the things that they're doing with it. So I always like to see a donation button in the top right corner. That's a kind of top tip. It's where your eyes naturally go, and they've done a good job of making theirs nice and easy to find. When I click donate, I'm actually going to see a pop-up form. This is a Keela form. They created this within their Keela account, and then they've got it in the form of a pop-up on their website. So I never leave the website, which is really important. Donation forms are 6 times more likely to convert website traffic if you can keep them on the site. And we have other options for you as well. We can embed them into the actual page. We have standalone forms as well. Now, with Keela, we know that you're all different. We try and give you lots of different options, and they've actually gone for some of our options here. So they've got a campaign progress bar. You can have this on all of your forms for your campaigns. People can see how close you are. It's a good incentive for helping you get to 100%. We've got one-time and monthly donors, of course. But one thing that I really wanted to show you, and I think excites a lot of the people joining Keela, is this cover the processing fee option. So yeah, I don't know what people here that are watching are kind of paying on their processing fees at the moment. If it's something like 3%, 4%, you're paying too much, I would say. So what we want to do is we want to lower that as much as possible and give the donor the kind of chance to cover it themselves. They've actually got this pre-selected, which you can turn off or on. So you're probably wondering what our processing fee is. It's 2.2% plus 30 cents. We add this button. When it's pre-selected, around 80% of your donors are actually keeping it selected. So we have had organizations that have joined Keela, and just having this button, it depends how much you get online, of course, but pays for their Keela subscription for the year, which hopefully makes us a no-brainer because we've got lots of other tools that are going to help you with your revenue as well. I'm going to go ahead with this donation, and I'm going to keep it as a one-time 100 donation because I want to show you something pretty clever on the next page. They actually have a recurring donation prompt. So yeah, this is again just an option. You can turn it off or on. It's completely up to you. But when I go to give them a one-time donation, they've got kind of 2 tiers based around percentages, and I can change my one-time gift to a smaller recurring gift instead. This organization here in their first year, another good stat, increased their recurring donation program by 260% in the amount of people that had a recurring donor. So we're seeing some really great results with some of our tools, and I've got a little more around that later on as well. So hopefully you agree that it looks really nice. I'm going to put the Rock Johnson in here. One thing that they haven't done, which you can do as well, is you could also put in kind of questions that are a bit more unique to your organization. How did you hear about us? What inspired you to give today? That type of thing. It could be even more specific. I like to see things that are going to help you with your stewardship later on. Put in a fake address. Let's move to Canada by the looks. And then, yeah, this is our payment processor. So we actually have our own payment processor. We also work with Stripe or PayPal to bring you that low fee that I talked about, the 2.2% plus 30. We are finding that a lot of people are going for Keela Pay because you get to deal with our pretty amazing customer care team. We've also got the bank transfer option right on your forms as well. These work perfectly on a mobile. we're also working on having Apple and Google Pay before the end of the year. So if you want a nice looking donation form, we spent a lot of time making sure that they're going to convert your traffic to donations as much as possible, really low processing rates, then you come to the right place. So what happens when I click donate? Have you got loads of admin to do? Have you got to receipt them? Absolutely not. So let's go back into Keela. I'm actually going to get up one of my contact profiles now. You can see that I've bookmarked some contacts here. You can bookmark people or pages, reports, emails, anything that you do a lot of work with. And I've actually bookmarked Najid here. He's the founder of Keela. I do implore you to go onto our website and read the story, a big reason why I chose to work at Keela. And this is his contact profile. I'm actually going to head straight to his fundraising tab here. So when he makes that donation, you're actually going to see a transaction in his fundraising tab. He's going to be automatically thank you'd. He's going to be automatically tax receipted as well. So at that stage, you actually haven't got any admin to do except maybe count your new money that's come into the system. Of course, we can manually put donations in here as well if we want to. We can take money over the phone with credit cards. We can also bulk upload payments. If you have maybe a different system that you use for whatever reason, or you have 100 checks with your end of year campaign, that is a lovely problem to have, because with Keela, you can kind of do the admin on those people in just a few clicks. So in fact, I might even show you my fundraising tab. I'm going to come back in here later on, but I know that for a lot of people, I'm not having that much kind of going on in the chat, but if you do have receipting, a lot of people I speak to, it kind of takes up a couple of days, a month, or maybe a week at the end of the year. So it's really important that, any of those donations that haven't come in through our Keela form that we've just been looking at can also be bulk receipted in Keela as well. And that could be, so Keela will simply find your unreceipted transactions, check that you've got enough information for a compliant tax receipt, and then it will be up to you whether you want to print and mail these receipts or just send them via email straight away. So hopefully you'd agree that already you're converting more of your donation or more of your website traffic to donation, sorry. All of the admin is going to be done for you. So you should be saving time and making more money with a switch. There's a few other kind of exciting things in the fundraising tab here. We can see our scheduled recurring, and we can set them up if they haven't done that through a Keela form. We can log and pay off pledges. It can even kind of calculate the installments for us. That works really great on a mobile app, by the way. If you're at an event, you're doing your thing with the major donors, you can kind of open that up and log that in there. Soft credits, if they've told somebody else to give us money. And then we also have a little capacity to give section. So there's two things in here. We use the census and their zip code to give you a rough idea of people from their area. So it's not 100% accurate. It's just something to go off. Some of our organizations look at this information before an event when they want to realize, who they should be spending more time with, or they look at this information perhaps when they've only got an address for somebody. And they don't know much about that person. We do also have an integration with Donor Search that I'm not going to go into today, but that gives you in-depth wealth analysis information within your Keela on your donors. So you can kind of see exactly how much they're giving to nonprofits, which kind of categories that they give to. Again, just gives you a few more things to go off and work out where your next major donor is coming from. Okay, so that was a bit kind of the donation, the donor journey, as I like to call it. I'm going to have a look at a contact profile next. So there's some really cool things on here, actually. You'll notice the highlights panel. I mentioned that there's a few time savers built into Keela. And this is one of them because, again, you might have a team of 5, 10, 15. You might be on your own as well, of course, like a lot of our organizations. But that just allows you to basically choose the information that you want to see quickly, because we have an unlimited amount of data in the main contact profile. So I'm actually going to come back to those contacts insights in about a minute. and just show you that we've got all of the stuff you could expect to see. Personal info, we've got an admin section, so you can see, you can kind of put tags on your different people in your database, assign them to yourself. You can see their email subscription status, all at a glance, websites, social media handles, you can see their associations and companies as well. All of your contacts can be stored into households and companies in Keela. And then everything below that, so you'll see things like volunteer info, miscellaneous, training, gender questions. These are all questions that I've added, all custom information. And again, as I mentioned, your organization is very unique. You're probably wanting to store things that other organizations aren't. You can store anything in Keela: files, images, multiple choice, questions, yes or no questions, dates. You can report on all of that as well. You can also tie all of these kind of questions up to Keela forms. We hate manual entry specifically for you. So yeah, you can send out a form, embed it into your website, and as soon as your contacts enter that information, their profile updates. So whatever data you need to be successful, we'll get it as quick as your donors can go. At the top here, what our organizations really love are our contact insights and smart recommendations. Keela is unique in that we have artificial intelligence built into the system. So I'm not going to go too far into it today, but essentially with all of the data that feeds us, we kind of can have a go at predicting where people are at in their donor journey and what they might do next. Still definitely requires, a personal touch as well, but it's just a bit like having a fundraising assistant on the team that might have a sixth sense that somebody's ready to give. So firstly, the contact insights here tell you what that person's doing with your organization. So I can see here at a glance, Najid's giving money, but it could say they're socially engaged if they're giving time. It could even say that they're opening your emails, but they're not clicking on links, that type of thing. I can also see that he's got our major and recurring donor badges and a very high donor score. So that's a score out of 100 that all of your donors get. As I said, it's out of 100. So he's actually what we call a champion. He's giving more often. He's giving higher amounts. He's very engaged, good person to reach out to get a campaign over the line. If somebody's got a smaller score, we call them needs more love. Guess what they need? That's it. They need more love. So they are giving smaller amounts, less often. We can maybe nurture them a bit more, tell them what their last donation did and who it helped before we maybe go for that ask like we might do with Najid here. Now, the smart recommendations go a little further because they actually tell you what to do. We know you're time poor. Those insights are great, but sometimes we just want to know what to do. So it will learn which campaigns they like giving to. It will learn how they like being communicated with, the time of year that they usually give. And the ultimate, most kind of loved feature here is the Smart Ask feature. So I don't know if anyone here has ever emailed a campaign out before. You might have created a form for that, and you might be thinking, okay, so how much are we going to ask? We've got a database. It could be 1,000 people. It could be 10,000 people or more. So there's going to be some different wealth in that group. It's very hard to know how much to ask for. We have an algorithm that's kind of updated every 24 hours to keep it current with your clients here, or your donors, sorry. So Najid, when he opens my campaign email, as well as a customizable amount, he will see, do you want to give 190, 220 or 260? Because that's how much he usually gives our organization. If somebody usually gave you $50, they'd open the same email without you doing anything, and they'd see 45, 50 or 55. So you can imagine this is popular because A, it doesn't take you any time to do this. It's just a flick button on a switch. But also you make more money. You don't leave money on the table. Research shows that people give smaller amounts than they're able to if they're asked for those smaller amounts. So just this simple feature means that you can save time and make more money, which is kind of what we're all about for you here at Keela. I'm going to move on from a contact profile next, as if any of these kind of different areas are piquing your interest, feel free to reach out to us on the Pond platform and organize a demo. I did just want to point out that you can save all of your interactions. A lot of organizations come to me, maybe basically they might be having conversations and all of those notes are in somebody's head. So yeah, every kind of interaction, a lot of this happens automatically, can be saved in Keela. We have an amazing integration with Gmail as well, where you can actually see their data from within your Gmail. But yeah, any kind of interaction can be saved. We can add to-dos to these interactions that are going to notify all of your workers when they need to do things, so that we can stay on top of contact management, be it donors, members, or volunteers. Excellent. Okay. Again, feel free to write anything in the chat that you would want to. I think I'm going to show you next, very briefly, before I go to the communications aspect. I'm going to head to forms. And you did see my form earlier there. You might be thinking, okay, that looks pretty amazing. How am I going to be able to do that? The world record for joining Keela and getting a donation page live on a website is 1.5 hours. Okay, so everything looks nice and easy here. And it is. When you go to build one of these forms, you're just simply kind of working your way through all of these one-page layouts, multi-page layouts. It's completely customizable to your approach here. Head to the designer. Everything is in here. So it gives me a little template to work off based upon the things that I've asked for there. You're going to be able to get your own pictures in here, use your own hex colors so that it's all your branding. And all of those kind of exciting options that I talked about, again, they're all in here. We can give by tiers, we can give by impact areas. You can see it just changes at the time I make all of these changes, so we can see what we're doing straight away. We can have different amounts for one-time and recurring giving. You can see as well that I've got my pre-selected cover the processing fee. If I want, I can switch to the mobile and see what people see on there. I think most traffic these days for websites is on a mobile. So I want you to think about that. If somebody comes onto your site on a mobile, can they give to you? How easy? What does that look like? What's the most common use of forms? Thank you, Julie. Just got a question there. So I'm going to head out of this donation form and I'm going to show you the 5 types of forms, because it really depends upon the organization, Julie. And we have an unlimited amount of forms that you can create. So it doesn't matter if you've got different teams making their own forms. These are the 5 types of forms that we have. So I would definitely say probably, the donation form is the one that's used the most, or by almost all of our organizations. So that ends in asking for money, and it gives a tax deductible receipt. We also have membership and revenue forms. So they ask for money, but they give a purchase receipt. So maybe they bought tickets or obviously a membership. Subscription, that ends in subscribe now for emails. And then we have a custom form as well to pick everything else up. So that's probably actually really popular as well, because that could be your volunteer interest form. It might be update your details. Sometimes when organizations join us, they kind of realize that they haven't got very good data. So they just have an update your details form. So this one just ends in submit. Although I would say that you can change what that button says. You can change the language if you need to as well. But essentially it's going to ask them to give you information, and it's not going to ask for money. So you can see here in my fake nonprofit, I've got quite a lot of forms that I've created. We can have progress bars on here. One thing I want to show you as well, is hopefully you're getting some ideas. All of your forms, when you publish them, all of your standalone forms can have a QR code. So yes, we can embed them into your website, which by the way is a 2-second job. Whoever's looking after your website, they just copy and paste this code into your website. But yeah, QR codes, these work great for leaflets, for physical mail, put them on a table at an event. People know what to do with them now. They're definitely back. It's not new technology, but you'll see if you put these on a table at an event, people are automatically going to get their phone out. If it was me, I might think it's a menu. I'm definitely getting my phone out. I'm going to basically scan your form, and then I might end up donating to you, even though I was looking for some food. All of our forms as well, when you can turn this off or on, but maybe once somebody volunteers or signs up for your event or donates to you, they can share that on Facebook and Twitter sharing. You have full kind of control over what people see on those platforms when they do share that behavior. So hopefully you can get some referrals out of that. It'd be nice to get, 2 donations for every one. We can dream at least. So yeah, great question there, Julie. So keep them coming through if you've got any other ones. You've seen what these forms look like if I share them on the website, but also we can share them in emails. And again, listen up, because this is a huge reason why people choose Keela. We have unlimited emails. So we do integrate with MailChimp, but I think even those users would tend to move over to our system because you can send as many as you want, and it's very non-profit focused. So helps you keep on top of your donor stewardship. I'm going to go just really show you how easy it is to make. So firstly, you can make any type of really targeted list in Keela. I'm reaching out to donors who donated last year, but not this year, but it can be anything: major donors, event lists. I might be looking for volunteer drivers. I might also send it to everyone. Whatever kind of list that you need to create, you can create in Keela. I kind of bypassed that today because it's not one of the more fun areas of Keela, but it's certainly very important. You can send from your own domain. I can't do it in a fake nonprofit, but your own. If it was Pond, it would be info@joinpond.com. That's really important for deliverability. Yes, you can have attachments, and then we have lots of nonprofit templates to get you going as well, of course. So I'm just going to load these up. We've got newsletters, we've got fundraising templates, occasions and holidays, events, stewardship. You can build your own as well, of course, but I think most organizations tend to just use these. So let's just get that up there. So Puppies United sounds like a great concept. I'm just going to put the Pond logo in there today. Nice and easy. A bit smaller. The dog is brilliant. It's not quite relevant, unfortunately. So I'm going to delete that dog. I know that's very sad. I'm going to tell you a good story about a dog email in a minute. But first, before we get there, donation summary at the end of the year always goes down well. You can even say which campaigns they gave to, let them know how well those campaigns did. I'm going to delete that though. It's not our end of year campaign quite yet. You can put code in here if you're pretty technologically advanced, sorry. And we have videos as well. Nice heartwarming video always goes down well. So it's really easy to use. Of course, you want to put their first names on there. And then we have our Keela buttons. So another reason why people tend to kind of prefer our email marketing platform to others, they're kind of copying and pasting, and it's kind of hard with the forms and it gets a bit messy. So we do have a custom button that can go anywhere on the internet. But all of your Keela forms that we just looked at can also be just kind of selected from here nice and easily. So I'm going to change what this button says. And I'm going to go for my Smart Ask donation form. So when I send this email to my whole database, I've got about 2,000 in my fake nonprofit. This is going to mean that they're all asked for those amounts in line with what they usually give. So I've saved time. I've made more money just by choosing the Smart Ask donation form there. We don't put our branding on these, so they look nice and professional. You can send as a test, send to a friend to look at your spelling. You can schedule it as well. I always say schedule it, even if it's ready to go, schedule it for 10 minutes, because as soon as you click send, you're going to have a thought or you're going to remember something. So I like to have a little 10-minute buffer on there. That's my top tip for today. And I'm going to show you the stats that we give you, because that's obviously very important. So delivered, open, clicked. That's clicked on each link, by the way. Unopened, unsubscribed, bounce, hard or soft. And we're very unique again. Big reason why people like our platform for the emails is the raise feature. So you actually get a return of investment number on every email that you send. Obviously, it's not going to be very high on maybe a newsletter, but maybe your end of year campaign. So we did our Keela Awards at the start of the year. We looked at our top performing emails. And I don't know if you'll be able to guess how much our most successful email actually raised, but I'll tell you. So we had in the States, it was a dog email. That's why I mentioned the dog earlier. So it basically raised $27,000. That was for Right Way Rescue. Yeah, it actually saved a dog's life, which they ended up calling Keela. Sounds like a fake story, but it's true. And we also, here in Canada, we had an organization that's raised 30,000 Canadian dollars. That was the Ottawa Bird Valley Sanctuary. So I see a theme: try and get animals into your emails. Can't promise you that you're gonna get $30,000 with each of your emails, but it is possible. And I look forward to you kind of creating your own story there. I've got another question from Julie. So I'm just looking to my other screen. Is there a way to drive a specific activity? Example, if we have someone who is interested in volunteering, do you have processes that could then direct them toward training if they meet certain criteria? We absolutely do. There's a few ways that we can do it, but I'm going to show you automation next. And that's going to be really, really helpful for you. So yes, I'll get there. Great question, Julie. Won't take me too long to show you this bit. Actually, I just wanted to show you that we had snail mail, as people like to refer to it as well. Quite good for your people that haven't got an email address. That's your natural direct mail list. Also, you know, some of the younger generations find it a bit novel to get something in the post. They get 20 emails overnight. So we can kind of mix it up. Again, if I just see what Dan Levy saw on my mail campaign here, this is going to have your branding on, of course. But yeah, this is going to turn up in the correct place for an envelope with the see-through address window. You don't need any to do any of the printing and the stickers. That's the word I was looking for. You can see as well, we definitely want to keep everyone happy. If people want to give you checks, then that's great. You know, because technology might scare them, ask for those checks, but also I've tried to give this one a modern twist. Anyone that does know how to use a QR code, they can give to me instantly. So they're going to be tax receipted instantly. They're in your Keela instantly. You've got no admin to do. So quite a nice thing to do. And you can put our donation summaries on direct mail as well. Okay, I'm going to show you something different here. And I wanted to do something special for all you pond folk as well. So just to be completely clear, everything that I've showed you so far is included in your base subscription of Keela. We have a few premium features for basically to keep our subscription low, but also to keep everyone happy that has some extra needs. And automation is the only area down the side that is a premium feature. So, and it's actually our most popular premium feature because it saves you a whole load of back office time. So Julie's question, just to come back to it, someone who is interested in volunteering, do you have processes that could direct them towards training? So I have a volunteer workflow here. You can do a lot of things with these workflows. They're also in MailChimp, they call them customer stories. We have them as automation. It doesn't just kind of send emails, it helps you with back office time as well. So I created this workflow here, where if somebody completes a volunteer interest form on my website, they're going to be tagged with volunteer interest. Keela's going to automatically send them a volunteer application form. And then you're all super busy, right? You haven't got time to keep following them up. So Keela can actually wait 5 days to see if they're going to fill in that form. If they do, they get tagged as an applicant. They get a thank you email, and you get a task to review that application. That's going to go straight into your to-do list. 7 days later, send confirmation or rejection. That's nice when they've done exactly what we want them to do, but also maybe, if they don't fill in the form, thanks, Julie. She said it was very cool, and I agree. So with this option, they haven't sent it. Keela just sends them a reminder, volunteer applicant, again, if they do it, or if they don't, they just get tagged as a potential volunteer. So really powerful, because when people don't do what we want to do, they might be really busy. We don't let them kind of slip through the cracks. We can do other cool things with this feature here as well. So in this, I actually built this with an organization in mind called Children of Uganda, where you sponsor a child. So basically, when you sponsor a child, I take you on this journey, and I haven't got time to write amazing emails to 5,000 people, but I can do it if I know that they're going to see it at the right time. So meet who your donation has helped, remember your first day of school, favorite subject, nervous, you get the point, and kind of building them up into this success. And then what actually happens at the end here, Annie couldn't imagine a future. You change this. Others aren't so lucky. Why not start a recurring gift of hope? It's going to help me with my recurring donation program. Again, it's going to send reminders. It's going to thank them if they do it. But I also like the fact that if they don't do it, they might not be in a position to do it. We don't just forget about them. And there's some other cool things to show you here, Julie, because if I click plus, so if else puts a fork in the road, we've got some really clever triggers. It doesn't just wait until they've filled in a form or wait 5 days after an email. There's a few different things in here, make certain transactions. I like this one, Julie, which could also help you. If they click on a specific link in your email, maybe it's a volunteer email, maybe that person's going to get, oh, you're interested in volunteering, here's our volunteer application form. Whereas somebody who's not as interested, who hasn't clicked on that link, won't get that. So it's a very, very powerful tool that saves a lot of time. I'm taking a time check here, 9:37. Okay, we're doing all right. Still some super cool things to show you. I'm going to go to the fundraising tab next. So, yeah, you might have seen the donation and revenue goals on the front page. So I'm keeping an eye on those, but I imagine some of the other systems have that as well. So I'm going to show you some things that they don't have. Firstly, we have a one-click fundraising report. Has anyone ever asked you for a fundraising report by the end of the day? If that happens and you're using Keela, you say, don't worry. I've been working on it for a while. It's ready. I'll have it to you by the end of the day. And then you keep doing the kind of work that's actually important. And you just wait for your notification here. Here it is. It's ready to download. So this, I asked it to look at 3 separate years here. And it's going to drill down into those, compare this quarter to same quarter the last 2 years, top performing impact areas, campaigns. Maybe we need to concentrate on gift size. You don't have to tell that person that asked you for the report about that button, just pretend it's yourself. Now, also, and this is important, so make sure you're listening here. When organizations join us, those joining us from spreadsheets on average in their first year increase their revenue by 46%. So I like leaning in when it's important. If it's from other systems, we often see a revenue increase of 10%. So I don't know what you could do with that extra revenue, but I think that a big reason, apart from the donor stewardship with the emails and the forms that are going to let you keep more of your donations and convert more of your traffic, the key performance indicators here. When I'm doing my demos, I ask people if they're kind of calculating them. Usually the answer is no. 1 out of 20 might have a million spreadsheets that aren't up to date to give them this information. Keela can do it for you. So you can choose which KPIs you want to calculate, how quick your list is growing, maybe retention rate, second gift conversion rate, recurring donation percentage growth. That's another popular one for those going for recurring donations, email stats as well. You benchmark yourself against other Keela organizations, maybe from your cause area or same revenue, or even fundraising research. I'm going to go for the M&R benchmark. And then you can set goals. So let's take median gift size as the example there. I'm actually going to click into this. You can see I'm doing pretty well compared to the benchmark, but I've got a lofty goal. Big, hairy, audacious goals, we like to call them. It's good to have them. So we can see how we're trending, what it is, why it matters, how to use it. The most important thing that it's going to do for your team is it's going to be give you a tangible number that you can try and improve. So we know it's 97. How are we going to improve that? Are we going to change the amounts on our forms? Are we going to concentrate on our major donor program? Once you do that for all of the numbers here that you're interested in, you will expand your reach and your revenue will grow. So very, very important part of the system there. Now, I was getting a bit excited there, so I hope you were as well. So yeah, you can see that there's quite a few kind of different areas here, but I do want to show you maybe just kind of like the onboarding, the care and the pricing before we finish up. As we've already said, if you do want a tailored demo, reach out via the Pond platform. And one thing that, and I've got an interesting question from Julie there. One thing that I did want to share with you, pond folk, was if you get in touch with us today, you will get 25% off of that automation feature there. Okay, so there's your incentive. Johan looks surprised. I just made that up on the spot, but you should do it, okay? Julie, when you talk about the increase in revenue as a result of switching to Keela, how would someone convince their leadership team to make a change if they're already invested in an existing tool, say Salesforce, for example? Sure. So we have a lot of tools that we can kind of help you in that conversation. I can talk to the leadership team as well, but when it is, I don't know, like maybe you're halfway through a contract. There are things that I can do to help you, Julie. So I would say reach out on the Pond platform and I'll help you in that specific case. We do also have some amazing social proof that you can find online. If you go to Why Keela and you go to our customer stories, you'll see a lot in here. You'll see organizations. Yeah, there you go, 720%. They've absolutely exploded since using Keela. There's also quite a few more in here. One Message, those are the guys that I was talking about today. You can see I wasn't making things up. It's all true. They've put their name to it. She Jump, 1,700 donors in 18 months using Keela. They really like Keela because they used our blog to help them do that as well. We are really in the nonprofit space doing a lot of things to help. So yeah, hopefully we will partner up for years and be more of a partner rather than just a software that you use. I don't think Salesforce would call themselves a partner. So I have 3 minutes left. So I will talk about, just the pricing and onboarding process with that time, because I'm sure you're all interested. So as I said, we're born out of a nonprofit ourselves. We're a B corporation. Pricing that makes sense, we grow together. So dependent upon your size, we have organizations that have over 100,000 contacts. We start at the bottom. So we have 1,000 contacts is our kind of first bracket there. 90 a month on an annual basis. So 1,080 for the year. We also have a month-to-month option as well. But I think most organizations are looking for something that's going to last a long while. You will grow when you join us. So if you ever hit 1,001, if you start at that bracket, we send you a message. Congrats, you're growing. What do you want to do next? Do you want to find people that haven't given to you for 10 years and get them out the system and stay? Or do you want to grow into the next bracket? Hopefully you want to grow, and you will be growing. So we just prorate for the rest of the year onwards if you're on that annual basis. So flexible and transparent as you could expect from a B corporation. We've got you. This is all online as well. 2 models of support. I am short on time, but essentially we have standard, which is included in your plan. If you look at our reviews online, everyone talks about our care. They're amazing people. So I just talk to them on a day-to-day basis to make me happy. You'll be able to do that as well. It's online and email based. We do also have monthly training sessions, scheduled phone calls, a chat tool within the app as well for those maybe on their first CRM that want a bit of extra help. Also, professional service, and this might help with your chat, Julie. Very easy to join Keela. We're not one of these antiquated systems that takes 6 months to move over to. We give you the choice of doing your data migration yourselves. We give you a complimentary data review to make sure you can't go wrong in that process. But what people can't believe is that with our professional services, we can create forms for you and things like that, but our most booked one is the contact migration, where you just send your spreadsheets of data to us. You work one-on-one with one of our consultants. They help you with your custom fields and tags and things like that. And just 2 weeks later, your data is in your Keela for you, all ready to go. And we put that down to respect. You don't want to pay for a system that you're going to be using in 3-4 months. And that really helps as well with the switch over kind of chat that you might be having there, Julie. But I can certainly help you a bit more on a kind of more one-on-one chat. And I think with that, I will pass it back to Johan. So thanks very much, Johan, and the Pond team for letting us present today. It was really fun. I hope you weren't too scared when I came close to the camera there. But yeah, please reach out on the Pond app. We would love to have a chat and see how much we can help you.
Thanks so much, Alex. Really appreciate the time today. This was really informative and helpful, and I'm sure all members agree. And look forward to having them connect with you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.